Happy Wednesday, everybody, and welcome into the Gramlich and Mac Lane podcast, presented by Ingles, the official supermarket of Gramlich and Mac Lane. Mac and I are back talking about the U. It's a very exciting week for Miami, for the ACC, and for Virginia Tech, too. I mean, this is a matchup. We're talking about Miami, Virginia Tech on Friday that should be played every single year, twice a year. I don't care. But the fact that it wasn't played last year was a real bummer. Now, maybe Virginia Tech fans, Mac, are saying, we could just skip it this year. But no, I know Virginia Tech fans, no matter what, they love this game because really anything can happen in this game. It's such a good game with a great history and a great rivalry.
Yeah, no question about it. Don't know about this year, but yes, generically speaking, yes, anything can happen. No, it is college football. You're absolutely right. Crazy things happen, especially in this league. We normally can't have nice things, so maybe crazy things will happen, but I don't think quite. Just when you look at it all, I think there's some real, facts and stats that are leaning heavily to favor the Hurricanes here and to being at home for Miami. Friday night, standalone game. Everybody in the world going to be watching. I just have to think that Cam and the boys are going to be jacked up and really excited about this opportunity. Speaking of Cam and the boys, today we have one of the leaders of this team, a guy who has been here through it all. And KG, it's funny when we were kind of planning this episode out and we're looking at the roster, who you want to get. Of course, the Heisman winning quarterback or winning. Whoa, let me slow down. Heisman contending. Contending. Whoa, easy. And I thought, man, Xavier Restrepo would be awesome to hear from. A guy who has been through a ton with this Miami Hurricanes team, never faltered ever. Has always been a leader, great model citizen in the community. And so he is joining us today. And I'm really excited. And I've known him. I've known X for a long, long time, KG. For some reason, I kind of thought he had been on before. I thought you knew him, but you were blown away by his interview as well.
I was so impressed with him. I think my main view of him is just him on the field, which is, as we're going to talk about, a dog. Yeah. So when he's, and most players we talk to, honestly, are just wonderful and great. Yeah. But he's so respectful. He's talking about his faith. He's just such a nice guy. I was really impressed with him. And of course, a fifth-year guy. He's been such a staple for this team, going through coaching change, going through quarterback changes, and he's been the most consistent player for Miami, you could say, over the last 4 years. And Mac, we've talked so much about Cam Ward and his numbers. Restrepo leads the ACC in touchdown receptions. He's second in the ACC in total yards, and he is second in the ACC in yards per game right now out of those receivers in this league. So he's having already a monster season, Mac. This interview was fun. Some really good insight with Cam Ward, different things of that nature. So before we get to X, let's get to a message from our good friends over at Ingles.
Did you know Ingles only sells USDA choice and prime cuts of meat? Maybe it's time to reward yourself. Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. Grass-fed, organic, you name it. Not only that, we'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. And we grind meat fresh in the store multiple times a day. It's all in the bag. That's the best meat in town for the best folks in town. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Xavier Restrepo, man, great to see you, brother. It's so funny. I go back to thinking when we were there in August and you and I were kind of talking off to the side, and I was just saying, I think you guys have a shot to be really good. And you just were like, yeah, me too, because of that guy. And you pointed to your quarterback, undefeated, playing at a really high level. What have you seen from your team so far, man?
I mean, I've just seen, outstanding effort from snap to whistle, from the first whistle to the last whistle. And we saw our first, adversity last game. And, I mean, the way we handled that was just remarkable. It was awesome to see us, flip a switch like that. Big shout out to, our scout team because, I mean, that scout team offense was keeping the pace up all week. And then you obviously saw on Saturday how our defense, adjusted to that. But, I mean, we're on a roll right now.
That's an understatement. I think so. And let's talk about South Florida before we talk a little bit more about your quarterback and that connection, because you guys obviously have something going there. But Mac and I were saying this on our recap episode on Monday. Maybe a few years ago, Miami's in a close game with South Florida at the half, and it stays close. But not this year. What was said at halftime? What adjustments did you guys make to be able to go out there and just, I mean, you look at the play chart, it's just touchdown, touchdown, touchdown in the second half.
For sure. I mean, first off, I want to just let everyone know South Florida is not, a bad team at all.
Sure.
They're a really, really good team. They executed really well in the first half, and we kind of kicked ourselves in the foot in the first half. So it was more about, worrying about what we needed to do and what we needed to fix, making halftime adjustments. And, we kind of just said at halftime, enough with, all the post snap penalties, the pre snap penalties,
Yeah.
and just play hard, play Miami football. And that's exactly what we did in the second half.
Yeah, and it was fun to watch. And again, KG, I think even taking it a step further, I think just like either focus not where it should be or whatever from in years past, but you guys are just so dialed in. And another big picture before we dive into a little bit more of you. I know KG is interested about what your bio says on the social media there, but it just feels like to me that Florida game happened, X, and I was one way or the other. I was like, oh no, this these guys are going to be too excited and start to listen to the press clippings and do these type of things, or this is just who they are and they're just going to just kill people. How do you guys have such a mentality right now of we know we're better than you and we're going to prove it each and every play?
Right. I mean, we didn't even, focus on any of that. Our focus is just getting better each and every single day on Green Tree and just, sticking to what we got to stick to. A couple of the guys during, our break today were like, it doesn't even feel like we're the number 7 team in the nation. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously we have higher dreams and aspirations than that, but like, we're not focused on the outside noise at all. We're focused on the inside. We know that we're the ones that we look in the mirror every single day and knowing that that's the only team that can, beat us, is ourselves. So we just focus on ourselves and just keep getting better each and every single day.
Yeah. KG, I think I said that yesterday. Yeah. I think that's exactly what I said. Nobody's going to be in the way for Miami. I love that. I love that attitude.
Mac knows what that's like to have that kind of mentality, being on teams that were ranked number 1 in the country and all that. And you kind of just have to block it out, which makes a ton of sense what you're saying, Xavier. So I want to talk more about your quarterback, because I know, and we had him on. I know you probably still have a really good relationship with TBD and you guys are going to be friends for your life, but you bring in a guy like Cam Ward. What were your thoughts when you maybe were hearing rumblings of this? And then how has it just either lived up to your expectations or maybe exceeded what you thought your new QB would be like?
For sure. I mean, I knew we were getting a baller, guy's a playmaker. I mean, that one play where they called him down for a sack, but I mean, when he pitched it back, I mean, it was funny. We were in the game. Me and JG looked at each other like, dude, this man is like that, So like, we're just super glad to have, a baller, a leader, a competitor back there touching the ball each and every single play, leading our entire team at that, but our offense too. So, I mean, we're just super excited, and I mean, he's exceeded everyone's expectation, but except his, because he knows what he can do. And again, he is a man of faith too. So I'm pretty sure, he knows exactly what's going on.
That's right. Tapping in where you can. For sure. I love that, man. And I love you guys looking at each other on the field, just like, what? Because that's what we're all doing, each and every Saturday. We're sitting there watching you guys like, oh my gosh, did he just do that? And I think there's another piece of his game that, honestly, X, I have had difficulty describing it, but I guess it's the ultimate confidence or calmness. I've never seen that dude rattled. And he is so chill out there. How is he that way? And is that weird for you guys? Do you want to see more of something else, or you just know, hey, he's this, silent assassin almost?
Right, no, for sure. I mean, he's definitely not silent.
Hey, we need to mic him up.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I don't know if you want to mic him up. There's going to be some things in there that I don't want to hear. But I mean, if you see your quarterback rattled, then your whole rest of your team is rattled. So I mean, again, he is like the alpha on our team, and he's the one that like if you don't know where to go, just look at me. So I think that's one of his best traits. He plays minds games with the defense, even our own defense in fall camp, spring camp. He's just that guy, 24/7. And I mean, again, like you said, he's never rattled. He's always poised because he has the utmost confidence in us, and he is a man of faith. So, there's no person he fears other than God.
I want to get into that with you, X, but I'm curious because you talk about him playing mind games. I think of him just kind of trotting out of bounds against Florida and staring at him, maybe early in the game when he's kind of just getting out of bounds. And it makes you think, okay, this guy, like you said, he's not afraid of anything. Was there a play or a throw he made in spring ball or even in fall camp to you specifically that you thought, oh, this is going to be different? Like, can you think back to a certain play?
I mean, there's
There's
I'm
so many.
honestly speaking, there's so many. But I mean, one I could think of is we were in a 2-minute situation in spring camp, and I was running like a corner-ish type deal or whatever, and the safety was looking at him, so he pointed up, but he still threw the corner. So when I turned up, he still threw the corner. So like as soon as I turned up, the safety rotated, and then I pushed back off and then caught the ball. So I
Wow.
mean, again, but that's just one example of so many.
Yeah.
We're super lucky to have him.
No question, man. No question. Well, guess what? He's super lucky to have you too, because you are a heck of a weapon. You're a heck of a player, and you have been your entire career. But it is fun to see it on this type of stage and to get this type of recognition, to have that number by your name. I know you're not paying attention to any of it, but other people are, and they're watching. And just the way you play the game, man, the way that you go after the football. You're not the biggest guy in the world, but you play like it, and you make sure that catch radius is all over the place. Where does that come from? Where does that fire come from for you?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I mean, it's really indescribable, you know. Again, I'm gonna keep referring to this because I am a big man of faith. I just go out there and play my hardest. You know, I give everything I have on that field. I tell my coaches each and every single game day, if I have to be carried off the field, come carry me off. But I'm gonna give everything I have, you know, for the team, for my group of receivers. I'm just gonna give everything because if not, I'll be failing myself. You know, and I promise those guys that I got their back no matter what. And again, I do have so much faith in the Lord, and He just literally takes care of it all. You know, again, I mean, just so much opportunity out there, and I would be wrong to not go full speed.
We love to hear that. We are also both people of faith. So just to hear that
Yeah.
from you, especially such a young guy who you're in Miami, like there's stuff going on that, maybe could lead you a different way, but we love to hear that. That's awesome to hear. And I can feel that almost peace within you. Like, hey, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to give it all. And then whatever happens, happens. And you
Right.
can see that with how you play. I love how you have scripture in your bio, but you also have the first part of your bio on Instagram is I'm open. That I love. You seem like a guy who's maybe always loved the wide receiver position. Is that what you always wanted to play? Is that what you played like from the beginning when you were 6 years old in Pop Warner? Tell me more about that.
I started playing receiver my 11th grade year of high school.
Really? What? What were you playing before?
I used to play running back,
Interesting.
safety. I was actually like, I don't know. Everyone I know from like my family part thinks I'm a better defensive back than a receiver. I played like nickel growing up, so like in
Yeah.
that slot area or whatever. And honestly, I think that's why I am such a good receiver. You know, it's because I know so much tendencies for receivers that I use it like against
Wow.
a DB in a sense. You know, so it kind of helped me, to be a better receiver. But yeah, I mean, I started playing receiver 11th grade year. I've always trained to be an athlete. Like my 12th grade year, our quarterback got down, got injured or whatever, and I went in there, played quarterback. Just kind of always just been, again, a football player.
Yeah.
I never trained to be a DB or a running back. I trained to just be an athlete. So
Yeah. Wow. I love that. And I love the cerebral part of that as well. Talking about knowing what they're looking for, because you did it, for it sounds like most of your life, and did it at a really high level. So that's amazing. I think that's going to help you a ton whenever you decide to go to the next level. How about your wide receiver room, man? I mean, these guys around you, I know you're playing really well, but they are too. And to see Horton and the tight end Arroyo and Sam Brown last week had his kind of, coming out party, but also, George there as well. You guys are playing really, really well together, and you're getting open for your guy, and you're making plays for your guy. Those two cover two hole shots that you guys came up with. I mean, it was freaky. And I know you have to be impressed with this group. What do you feel like everyone's kind of bringing to the field individually?
Sure. I mean, we have such a dangerous group, and it's kind of weird, that every week someone else is the leading receiver, so it's just amazing because we have guys on this field and a quarterback again that you have to guard all 53 and a third of that field, so um I mean we have guys that stretch it. Sam Brown, whole shot, took it deep. Zay played amazing all game. JG was a little banged up, but still fought through it, and just an absolute dog. Elijah, just big physical, and just dangerous. But I feel like the best part about all of us is we understand that we can be a lot better,
Right.
and that we're
Love
chasing that, and we're playing such unselfish football right now, and I feel like that's why we have so much success.
Okay, just listening to you talk, it feels like you and Coach Cristobal get along well. Just the way that you talk, the way he talks, I can sense a vibe. So tell me more about your relationship with him. And then my biggest question though is, have you ever tried his Cuban coffee that apparently is like he has, I don't know, 10 shots a day and he just keeps going. So I need to know about that too.
For sure. Yeah, me and Coach Cristobal have an amazing relationship. We text here and there and, just always check up on each other every holiday. I'm texting him and his amazing family. He has a beautiful family, and we just have, that relationship. He's definitely a player's coach, and, we all love him.
Well, X, man, we're super excited for you. Obviously, massive opportunity Friday night. Before we get you out of here, just a quick thought, on the game and being a standalone game and, of course, an old rival in Virginia Tech. What does this opportunity mean, for Miami going into this game?
For sure. Miami, Virginia Tech has always been a tough game, fist fight, heavyweight fist fight. They have a really, really good defense, bringing back 21 of 22 starters, if I'm not mistaken. So they have a really, really good team. We have a lot of respect for those guys and would be wrong not to practice super hard this week so that we could have our best game on Saturday.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, man, we're excited for you. Can't wait to watch it. Appreciate your time as always.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks again to Xavier Restrepo for joining us on the podcast, his first time on our pod, so we appreciate that very much. We're going to dive into this game a little bit more, but first, Mac, our show is also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, the easiest place to play fantasy sports. We've been having a lot of fun on this app. I even said on Friday's episode, I didn't think I'd be super into it because I just don't really care about fantasy sports, but I've been into this mainly because for me, and you can do NFL, you can do anything on there, but they have such college football focused stuff too. And that's fun. I like the NFL. I'm not going to bet on the NFL. No, I don't really care to, but this to me is really exciting and interesting. And I love on the app, Underdog Fantasy, use our code GMPOD. I really like how you can sort by game. That feature is really cool to me.
Yeah, no, it is. It's been really fun to use this. I will have to, just be transparent. You talk about the different sports and you talk about what you're good at and you like football, obviously, or college football. I won a lot more money when I was doing NBA stuff. So I need to get better. I need to get better at what I'm doing. But we've got our first W this past week. So we've got momentum on our side.
Proud of you.
Got momentum on our side. And again, I just don't listen to you every week. I just want to go so big and do these massive things. I think I'm going to crunch it down, which means ultimately I'm going to probably do more bets, more pick'ems, and so not the big deal. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. But I do have to give a shout out to Mark Ennis, friend of the show, came in, Louisville guy. Sorry, Miami, for all you listening. Mark Ennis hit me up and said, "Hey, I've been doing the Underdog deal, using y'all's stuff. I went 7 of 8 and made some money." I said, "I like that. That's big time." He did the flex. He won. He got some paper. So let us know what you guys are. Let us know what your picks are. I've said this almost every time. Tag us. I want to see them. I want to see the money that we're collecting out here, people, and how we're winning. And I'm going to do better too. I'm going to get my bank up, get my money up, and stop pulling this show down. So regardless, use our code GMPOD. Go to the Underdog app. We're going to get you up to $1,000 in bonus cash. You want to take advantage of that. I have a feeling that might be going away soon. So you want to lock in and get that when you can right now, and then come play some fantasy sports with us. It's been a lot of fun.
Get in there now, use our code GMPod, and they will post all the stuff for Miami, Virginia Tech soon on the app. So make sure you're checking for it, and then you can get in on the action. Let's talk about this game, Mac. Number 7, Miami is hosting the 2-2 Virginia Tech Hokies Friday night, 7:30 p.m. on ESPN. I like this Friday night slot. There's been a lot of ACC games in the Friday night slot. Stanford, Syracuse last Friday night. I know it's not Saturday night. I get that, but I think there's a lot of people tuning into these games, and you're the only game on. There's no NFL competing with you, which is huge. Miami is an 18.5-point favorite. We're recording this just for honesty here. We're recording this Monday evening, so it could have changed. The over-under is at 55.5. Mac, your initial thoughts on Miami being an 18.5-point favorite at home?
Well, it's Monday, and it opened at 16.5. It's already gone up 2 points. So by the time y'all are listening to this, it might go up again. Who knows?
I can see it going up.
I'm with it. I'm fine. Yeah. So if you somehow get a leaked version of this episode, get in now, I guess, listen to what we're saying. If not, it might be too late. It might be too late. So yeah, I think so. I mean, that's just what Miami's been doing. Right. And there's a couple of factors as to why, which we'll jump into, but I feel really comfortable with that number with the Hurricanes. And especially after talking to X, not that he said anything negative at all about other teams, but just focusing and saying we're not listening to any kind of outside noise. Like, that number's great, but we don't care. We know that we can be and will be better than that. I love that. Like, they are heads down, going to work each and every day. And here's some more kind of transparent honesty for you guys. We were supposed to record that episode at what was it, KG, 11:30 or something of that nature, a little bit earlier. This dude was working out by himself, no coaches, doing some field work. And there were other guys with him. Like, that's what this team is about. They are grinding. It wasn't practice. It wasn't scheduled weightlifting. That was individual. I'm going to go out on my own, get some teammates, and go to work. That's special. In the middle of the season, that's really special.
Yeah, you can just tell that from Restrepo. You can tell he's that type of guy. Mac, I think this number is high because of what we've seen from Miami. And by high, I just mean a big number. Because of what we've seen from Miami, but also because of what we've seen from Virginia Tech. It has been quite a disappointing start for Virginia Tech. No one is more disappointed than the Graham Looking Mackline podcast. Okay. I mean, we thought this would be a much better year, at least so far, for Virginia Tech. I think the biggest concern, even though there are many, Mac, the biggest concern as of late is, yes, you lost to Vanderbilt, which, they did just push Missouri, but they also lost to Georgia State because that's college football. When you lost to Vanderbilt, you did still pass the ball well. Kyron Jones passed over 300 yards. He completed 68% of his passes. He threw for 2 touchdowns. Since then, the passing game has been virtually non-existent, Mac. And yeah, Bashal Tutin's doing his thing, and he is a threat, and we love that. But they can't pass it. I don't know what's going wrong, Mac. Maybe you can give me some insight there, but it's just really frustrating to watch. The completion percentage is terrible. Yeah. Jones isn't really taking many sacks. I think it's more an issue with the receivers getting open. You could talk play calling, whatever, but the passing game is just not there. And that's a problem when you go on the road at Miami. Miami's going to line up and say, we're not letting you run the ball.
Right.
You're going to have to pass it to beat us, Virginia Tech. And I'm not sure they can do that.
Yeah. Well, and here's some more bad news. Miami is the number 1, total defense in the ACC. So pass or run, you're not going to have a lot of success. These guys have really been able to make things happen and play very well defensively. I mean, every game that we see, there might be a half or a quarter from Miami that teams are able to score, and then that's it. These guys lock in, recover. I mean, it was a shutout in the second half against USF, the things that we just saw from them. The defensive line has been sick. I mean, those guys are absolutely getting after the quarterback, stopping the run, making different things happen. Oh, by the way, they don't have Ruben Bain. I mean, they don't have their best player, and who knows? Hopefully he's back soon. Should have asked X about that. I'm sure he wouldn't have told us, but we should have asked him just to see when he's coming back.
I feel like it, and I'm not sure here, but I remember when we talked with D Money over at Canes Insight, just talking about it was a soft tissue situation.
Yeah.
I feel like you hold him out for South Florida, maybe you bring him back for Virginia Tech. That's something to watch. It's only Monday when we're talking about it, but that could be a big factor.
No question. And again, they lead the ACC in sacks. They have 16 sacks on the
without
year.
Him, basically.
Without their best pass rusher. So it kind of goes to show you just how good this team is, what I think they're going to be able to do. And again, I think the standalone part is really important. And I'm excited for that. Excited for the rest of the country, if they haven't already, which I'm sure they probably have. But if you haven't already, to tune in and see these guys, to see how much better Miami has been, how good Cam Ward is, how good this receiving core is. Hopefully Jalen Rivers plays and you see the full strength of the offensive line, the run game that's been electric, and then a defense that's really flexing their muscles. I mean, I said it Monday. We heard Xavier said it. I don't think there's a team on Miami's schedule that can get in their way. I really don't. I think it will come down to, do you make silly mistakes? Do you start reading press clippings? Do you get a little complacent and don't use the same effort or don't have the same preparation? And that, quite frankly, comes down to the leaders and the coaches on this team not allowing that to even be a thing. And I think I know Coach Cristobal well enough. I think I know a lot of guys on that staff that it won't come from there. And you see a guy like Xavier Restrepo who basically said that's not happening. So we've been excited about it. I think it's time to start getting really excited for what the Canes are going to be able to do.
And Mac, what's crazy too is let's say that does happen. You know, let's say that does happen at some point down the road where Miami doesn't take an opponent as seriously. They don't play their A game. Because you have Cam Ward, you can still win. Like, that's what Cam Ward does.
Exactly.
Everything doesn't have to go right for you to win because he's that special. And even he can make a mistake and it's like, whatever, on to the next. I've told you this, Mac, and it's still weird for me. I'm not sure I've seen a calmer college football quarterback ever. He is too relaxed. It's like he's just had a massage before the game and he's like just in a zen moment. I mean, I'm just like, this is amazing to watch. He's the calmest guy I've ever seen. It's unreal.
It's literally like slow motion. And I sent you that clip earlier where there's a free rusher and his back is literally turned to this guy. I'm like, sitting there like, oh no. I remember watching it live, like Cam Ward is about to get annihilated. He turns his head and so like, oh, watch out, dude. Steps to the side. But then even after that, there is not a sense of urgency. There's just a calm, oh, there's my running back. Here you go. Get it to him. It was amazing. And I think what comes from that is, number one, preparation. Like, he just knows where to go with the football. If something happens, if adversity strikes and he's got to get out quick, he knows where to go. So there's no point to panic. There's no point to be rushed because you know that you have time to get it there. And then the second thing, I think it's just his swag. Like, this dude is like, y'all can't hit me. Y'all cannot touch me. I know where to go with the football, all these different things. It is truly fun to watch. And still, as I've said 100 times, I don't know how to describe it other than prep, confidence, calmness. I don't know. There has to be a better word. I just haven't found it yet.
I don't know. I've never seen, and I really don't want to sound like I'm exaggerating, but I don't feel like I've seen anything like it at the college level. So
literally,
I'm excited for him to see. This has been a good pass defense so far for Virginia Tech. I think they're second in the ACC in pass defense. Their running defense has been terrible. So that is a problem. And I think Miami's going to take full advantage of that. And Miami's defense, like you said, Mac, has been great. So I really don't see a path for Virginia Tech to win this game. I think because it's Friday night, things get weird. Maybe they could keep it close, but I just have too much confidence in Miami. I think right now I would take Miami to cover. And until proven otherwise, which is weird because we said that before the season, Miami needs to prove it. I know they haven't played the best schedule, but it's the way they're winning and the way they're handling everything. It just seems like they're here and they're ready to make some noise.
Right. And I agree with you. And it is going to be interesting because, you know, when you look at what they, you know, exceed at, I guess, is the good way to look at it, is, you know, from the standpoint of Virginia Tech, you mentioned the pass defense here. So rushing defense is the second worst in the league. Now, there's another interesting piece about that as well. They are averaging, which thank you for sending me this website. I'm so nerding out right now.
It's the
attempts
best.
Per game, rush attempts per game. They are also getting rush attempted on the most.
Yeah,
41.
People are running it on them
41 times. So let's go to their passes real quick just to see is passing, you know, as good as you think, or are people just literally not throwing the ball? They're number one. That's why their pass defense is so good. People pass on them the least. They don't throw the ball because they don't have to. 22 passes per game. Just to tell you the opposite, Stanford is 38. That is a huge number at the others there. So, yeah, it's great. You can sit here and say number 2 pass defense, but that's because no one throws it against you. On the other side of it, to kind of prove what I'm saying, Duke has the number 1 passing yards per game, and they have 10 more passes per game on them. So they're actually playing pass defense. It's
so you're
not
telling me
just,
Duke's for real, Mac. That's
I'm
what
telling
you're
you,
telling me.
Duke's for real. I'm telling you, Virginia Tech's defense is not good. So Miami is going to do whatever they want. They're going to run it. They're going to pass it. Cam Ward's going to have a big day. It will be interesting to see just because of the balance. Like, can they get it going with the run so much that Cam doesn't have to go for over 300 yards? I have to think they're going to want to do that anyway. So we'll see. I'm with you. I'm taking the points. I feel good about Miami. I think this is their, like, welcome to the party. Everyone's now kind of paying attention to us type game.
It's definitely an opportunity for that. Would love to see a pulse from Virginia Tech, but I just don't have a lot of faith.
You know what I'm
now.
in the business of? I'm in the business of sacrificing other teams for big dogs. I'm fine with it.
So you don't want to see
Virginia
a pulse.
Tech, you ruined it for me. Like, I was all in with you. I felt really good. Felt super confident. And now it's just like, move on. Get out of the way. Don't mess this up for anyone else.
I sent you the meme where someone says, Virginia Tech, you lost to an SEC and a Big Ten team. It can't be that bad, right? Don't tell me it was Vanderbilt and Rutgers.
Right.
And then they're like, wait, it was Vanderbilt and Rutgers? Oh, God. Well,
so that's where I am. Sorry, Hokie Nation. Love you. Be back next year, hopefully. And, you know, maybe we'll see you this year in person. I don't know. I love Lane Stadium. Love you guys. It's not you.
It's the best. It's the best. And Mac, I feel like the saying that we say the most every single season is Virginia Tech fans deserve better than this.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll.
But it is weird. All right, you've brought it up enough. I'm thinking about enough. I do want to talk about it. It's so weird because you have everybody coming back. You had 85% production back. You have your quarterback back. You have all these great receivers, a stellar running back, defensive players that were juiced up, excited, think they're draft picks, and it can't come together. I don't know if this is a case of complacency and they were reading and listening to how good they were, and maybe they didn't put in the – I don't know what it is. I don't know. But I know it's nowhere what I thought it would be, and I'm pretty disappointed in that.
I'm afraid that the Vandy game has beaten them more than once.
Maybe.
That game was so fluky. If you watched it, even with Virginia Tech came back. I felt like they took the lead in the fourth. I felt like they were going to win it.
Yeah.
And then they blow it. And it's with all the hype and expectation, it's so hard to overcome that from the jump. You lost to Vanderbilt. And I know Vanderbilt's better. That's going to be a bowl team, but it's still Vanderbilt. And with the expectations you had, it almost feels like they're letting that loss beat them a few times, but
maybe
we shall see, Mac.
Anyway, like I said, it's all about the you, baby. Let's go. Anyway, appreciate you guys tuning in. Big shout out to Cam for hooking us up and having Xavier come on. Xavier, always pleasure for your time. Appreciate that. And Miami fans, thanks for tuning in. It's always fun to talk about the Canes, and the Canes are rolling. So excited to see where they go.
Virginia Tech fans.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Get in the comments, Virginia Tech fans. Let's see how many people are watching today from Virginia Tech. But anyway, appreciate you guys. Go over to YouTube, subscribe, jump on this party with us. It's going to be a fun one all year long. Cannot wait to see how this thing continues to shake out and continue to roll. So subscribe, jump in the comments section. OGs over on Apple Podcasts, SiriusXM listeners, always appreciate you guys. But until next time, we'll see y'all.